And now let's get the latest headlines this Saturday night with the ITV News.
A major new push to get every adult in England vaccinated. Today, thousands of teenagers queued to get the jab, while there was a poignant reminder of what's at stake. Britain's longest-known COVID patient dies after suffering 15 months of illness. His wife hopes that will serve as a warning to others.
It's a really horrible thing. And to follow the rules, abide by the rules.
Also tonight, a hardliner wins Iran's presidential election. What does it mean for reviving the country's nuclear deal with the West? Scotland fans head home with something to sing about, while England face big questions about their team performance. And her horse may have come second, but the Queen still has a winning smile at Ascot.
This is ITV News with Duncan Golestani.
Good evening. The COVID vaccination rollout programme received a huge boost today as everyone in England over 18 was invited to go for a jab. Thousands did, with queues forming outside football stadiums across the country. It came on the day of a poignant reminder of the horrible disease it is, as the UK's longest-suffering COVID patient died after 15 months of illness. His wife hopes his plight will serve as a warning to others to keep taking the dangers of COVID seriously. David Wood reports.
For months they've waited, and today for hours they queued as over 18s finally get the call up. West Ham Stadium is one of many in England to become temporary vaccination centres. And despite fears younger adults may not make it through the turnstiles for their jabs, there seems to be plenty of enthusiasm to get protected.
We've all been waiting for ages.
As soon as it opened up, pretty much everyone
basically
jumped on it as soon as possible.
My entire family's vaccinated, so it's nice to finally kind of join them.
I'm really happy. I feel a lot safer and better.
I'd rather have it than get COVID.
Scientists say with infections rising, we are now entering a third wave, and vaccines are our route out of it. But that it's critical people have both doses when they're offered.
The reason the government wants to accelerate the delivery of second doses is that eventually vaccines will have an impact on infection levels as well by reducing transmission and building population immunity.
But despite the optimism, Jason Kelk is a tragic reminder just how deadly COVID can be. He battled the virus for 15 months. During that time, he had many moments of hope, sometimes out of bed, taking tentative steps seemingly to recovery. In April, he told ITV News how he even hoped to return home once again.
I mean everything. To get back to normality. See if I can tell you the efficiency of it. So.
Often with good humour, Jason fought the virus, but yesterday he'd had enough and asked doctors to turn off his life support. So wife Sue had to say goodbye to the man she calls the life and soul of her life.
Somebody who's very strong, very kind, very loving. And just a hero, really. You know, I think he's given hope to a lot of people.
Despite his best efforts, the virus never let Jason go from its lethal clutches. Now his family hope their tragedy will encourage others to protect themselves.
A timely reminder, David. There is some news of possible changes, though, to self-isolation rules.
Yes, that's right. There's already a massive trial underway involving around 40,000 people. But what the government is considering doing is saying, look, once you've had both your COVID jabs, if you then come into contact with someone who has the virus, instead of self-isolating for 10 days, what you could do is take 10 rapid result lateral flow tests over 10 days. And as long as each one is negative, well, then you can carry on living your life as normal. I should stress, though, I'm told it's very early days. No decisions have been made. But it is clear now, with over 18s getting their first invites, that it's 2 to 3 months before all adults will have their invites to have both doses. And I think what we're getting is a sense from the government of changing the rules, or considering changing the rules, to take into account the protection the vaccine gives.
OK, David, thank you. Iran's hardline cleric Ibrahim Raisi has won the country's presidential election. It was a landslide victory, but some say it was also rigged. The result is being closely scrutinised in the West, especially by those concerned about the country's nuclear ambitions. Our correspondent Neil Connery reports from Tehran.
Victory celebrations this evening for supporters of Iran's new hardline president, Ibrahim Raisi. In this Tehran square, they came to savour their triumph. A vote which many Iranians boycotted, seeing it as rigged in Raisi's favour, has silenced the voices of reformists here. Raisi won more than 60% of the vote. Turnout was down almost a quarter from the last time, making it the lowest since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The winner today met outgoing President Rouhani, symbolising the change of direction. Raisi is the head of judiciary. He's under US sanctions and stands accused of human rights abuses. Analysts say the West will have to do business with him, despite their reservations.
If West in whole wanted to cooperate with Iran, they have to accept Ayatollah Raisi as elected president of Iran, and he is elected of the nation.
Once these celebrations subside, issues like Iran's nuclear deal and regional tensions will need to be urgently addressed.
Iranians have a new president, but the challenges remain. With Raisi being a hardliner, the issues between Iran and the West remain as complex as ever. Neil Connery, ITV News, Tehran.
The First Minister of Northern Ireland has been told he will be expected to resign when a new leader of his party is chosen. Paul Givan was only officially installed in the post this week, but Edwin Poots was forced to resign as DUP leader on Thursday after an internal party backlash over a deal with Sinn Féin. And the former Speaker of the House of Commons, John Bercow, says he's switched parties from the Conservatives to Labour, blaming Boris Johnson's leadership as reactionary and even xenophobic. Thousands of Scotland fans are now back home after celebrating all day their 0-0 draw against England in the Euros. It was the most watched match of the tournament so far. ITV plus STV's coverage together drawing a peak audience of 20 million viewers. But while Scotland's performance at Wembley last night was widely praised, England were booed. As our sports editor Steve Scott reports, their performance raises some difficult questions. And finally, the Queen showed her winning smile today, but her horses didn't read the script. For the first time in 2 years, she went racing, one of her passions, on the final day of Royal Ascot, taking time to inspect her own horses, which were also running. And she nearly had a winner reach for the moon in her purple and red colours, finished a close second. Later, Her Majesty watched the day's big attraction.
And it's Dream of Dreams, asleep on the way down, who is in full play on the way back and wins the Diamond Jubilee. Dream of Dreams.
It was third time lucky for Dream of Dreams in the Diamond Jubilee Stakes. And that is it for now. From all of us here on the Weekend Team, thank you for watching and good night.
First thing today will be lovely and warm, and by breakfast time, it could be on the sunny side. Heinz Tomato Ketchup sponsors ITV National Weather.
Good evening to you. After the hot, humid, mild, muggy conditions a few days ago, a much fresher feeling weekend. Rain moving in through the next few hours with cloud and sunnier spells this Sunday. We've got that rain working its way from south to north through the night. Some of it heavy, potentially a few rumbles of thunder further east. and much fresher, a little more comfortable for sleeping compared to just a few nights ago with that muggy, stuffy air long gone. A touch of mist and murk across those southern counties tomorrow morning, a little grey and grotty first thing with the remnants of overnight rain in some locations, particularly across the north and the northeast. Staying a little dull and damp across the northwest of Scotland and northwestern Northern Ireland. Otherwise, I'm optimistic of the clouds breaking to reveal some occasional sunshine. Just bear in mind there'll be a few hit and miss downpours developing across the south, some of these on the heavier side. Where the sunshine develops, highs of 21 or 22 degrees, a little cooler, a little fresher where we've got the cloud cover. See you soon. Have a good night.
Heinz Tomato Ketchup sponsors ITV National Weather.
It's been another busy day at Euro 2020, and tonight we have highlights from 3 more key group games. We'll bring you the best of the action as Portugal went up against Germany, Hungary took on France and Spain faced Poland, and we'll also preview Wales' match against Italy tomorrow in Rome. Join us shortly.
Great Western Railway sponsors the ITV London Weekend Weather.
Hi there, good evening. I'm afraid more rain overnight, topping up what we saw yesterday. Some bright echoes here suggesting some heavy downpours, but that is going to clear soon enough, leaving us with lots of cloud and grey, murky weather, feeling rather humid with lows of 12 to 14 Celsius. A brighter day in prospect tomorrow, grey to start, but brightening up nicely. Unfortunately, the sunshine just triggers off these showers. Quite a few of them potentially, maybe some heavy thundery downpours and pretty slow moving, so do watch out. Temperatures, if you can stay dry and in the sunshine, 20 Celsius, 21 if you're lucky, not feeling too bad. I'm afraid that is a one-day only offer because there is more rain on the cards for Monday, hopefully drying out later on in the day. Here comes your pollen.